Here's something women notice but will never tell you. When you walk into a room, before you say a single word, she's already making decisions about you, not based on your face, not based on your clothes, based on 9 subtle gestures that most men have no idea they're sending. These aren't the things you'd expect. They're not about standing tall or making eye contact, at least not in the way you've been taught. They're smaller than that, more instinctive, and they speak directly to something in her subconscious that she couldn't explain, even if she tried. The truth is, women don't consciously choose who they're attracted to. Attraction happens in a split second, triggered by signals you can't fake, but you can learn. In this video, I'm going to reveal each of these 9 gestures. I'll explain the psychology behind why they work, and I'll show you how to naturally incorporate them so they become part of who you are, not some act you're putting on. If you've ever wondered why some men seem magnetic without even trying, this is why. Let's start with the first gesture. The first gesture is one most men completely overlook, and ironically, it's not about doing something, it's about how you do everything. It's the pace of your movement. Watch a man who naturally attracts women and you'll notice something strange. He doesn't rush. When he reaches for his drink, it's not hurried. When he turns to look at someone, he doesn't snap his head. When he walks across a room, there's no urgency, even if he's late. This isn't laziness. It's control. Here's the psychology behind it. Rushed movement signals anxiety. It tells her subconscious that you're reactive, that the environment controls you instead of the other way around. But when you move slowly and deliberately, something shifts in how she perceives you. You become the man who owns his space, the man who isn't rattled. Women don't consciously think, oh, he moved his arm slowly. How attractive. But her nervous system registers it. She feels calmer around you, safer, and that feeling? That's the foundation of attraction. The fix is simple, but takes practice. Next time you're in a social situation, slow everything down by about 20%. Your gestures, your head turns, your walk, not dramatically, just enough that you notice the difference. But here's the thing, slow movement only works when paired with the second gesture, and this one catches most men off guard. The second gesture is something every man thinks he understands, but almost everyone gets it wrong. It's eye contact, but not the kind you've been taught. Most advice tells you to hold strong eye contact, lock eyes, don't look away first, and while that sounds confident, here's what actually happens. It comes across as intense, aggressive, sometimes even uncomfortable. The men who naturally attract women do something different. Their eye contact is relaxed, soft. They look at her like they're genuinely curious, not like they're trying to prove something. Here's the difference. Tense eye contact says, I'm trying to impress you. Relaxed eye contact says, I'm comfortable here, I'm not going anywhere. In that relaxation, women feel it immediately. It tells her you're not desperate for validation. You're not overthinking every moment. You're present. The key is in your facial muscles. When you look at someone, notice if your forehead is tight or your jaw is clenched. If it is, she'll sense it, even if she can't name it. Instead, let your face soften. Let your eyes rest on her without gripping. Think of it like this. You're not staring, you're appreciating. Combined with unhurried movement, relaxed eye contact creates something powerful presence. And that presence is what makes the third gesture work. Because this next one is where most men accidentally push women away. The third gesture is physical, and it's one most men shrink away from, literally. It's how much space you take up. Watch an insecure man in a social setting. His shoulders curve inward, his arms stay close to his body. He makes himself smaller, trying not to be noticed. And that shrinking, women register it instantly. Now watch a man who's comfortable in his own skin. His posture is open, his arms move freely. He takes up the space he's entitled to, not aggressively, but naturally. He's not apologizing for existing. Here's what's happening beneath the surface. When you make yourself small, her subconscious reads it as low status. It signals that you don't feel like you belong. But when you expand, when your posture opens and your body relaxes into the space around you, it communicates something entirely different. It says, I'm supposed to be here. This doesn't mean spreading out obnoxiously or dominating every room. It means not shrinking. It means letting your shoulders drop back instead of hunching forward. It means resting your arm on the back of a chair instead of keeping it locked to your side. If you've ever noticed certain men command attention just by walking in, this is part of why. They don't apologize for the space they occupy. But here's where it gets interesting. The next gesture isn't about your body at all. It's about your voice, and most men have never thought about it this way. The fourth gesture isn't something you see, it's something she hears and feels. It's the way you speak, not what you say, how you say it, the tone, the pace, the resonance. Most men, when they're nervous, speak from their throat. Their voice gets higher, faster, tighter, and even if their words are confident, their voice betrays them. Women pick up on this instantly, not consciously but instinctively. A strained voice triggers something in her that says he's not comfortable. Men who naturally attract women speak differently. Their voice comes from lower, from the chest. It's slower. There's space between their words. They're not rushing to fill silence, and they're not trying to prove anything with volume. Here's the psychological mechanism. A deep, steady voice signals emotional regulation. It tells her that you're not reactive, that you can handle pressure without falling apart. And for women, that kind of stability is deeply attractive because it feels safe. The practice is simple. Breathe before you speak. Let your voice drop into your chest instead of rising into your throat. Slow your pace by 10%. Don't be afraid of pauses. When you combine this with your body language, unhurried movement, relaxed eyes, open posture, you create a complete picture. You become someone who feels grounded, and that groundedness sets up the fifth gesture perfectly, because this next one is about what happens when she tests that stability. The fifth gesture is where most men fail without even knowing it. It's how you react when something unexpected happens. Women test men, not always consciously and not always intentionally, but they do. A playful tease, a slight challenge, a moment of tension, and in that moment, how you respond tells her everything she needs to know. Most men react immediately. They defend themselves, they explain, they try to fix the moment, and every one of those reactions screams the same thing: I'm not secure. The men who attract women do something different. They pause, they stay still, they let the moment breathe before responding, if they respond at all. Sometimes a slight smile is enough. Sometimes silence says more than words ever could. This is non-reactive stillness, and it's incredibly powerful. Here's why. When you don't react instantly, you signal that her words don't control you. You're not thrown off balance by a little friction. You can hold your ground without getting defensive, and that kind of emotional stability, it's magnetic. The key isn't ignoring her or being cold, it's being unshakable. There's warmth in your eyes, but there's steadiness underneath. Think back to the first gesture, unhurried movement. This is the same principle applied to your emotional response. Don't rush to react. Let the moment settle, then respond from a place of calm. Now what I'm about to share next changes everything, because this sixth gesture is the one most men get completely backwards. This sixth gesture is the one that trips up almost every man, because it goes against everything you've been taught about showing interest. It's the art of withdrawing your attention. Here's what most men do. When they're attracted to a woman, they give her all their focus. They lean in. They keep the conversation going at all costs. They're always available, always responsive, always there, and that's exactly what kills the attraction. I know that sounds backwards. You'd think showing more interest would make her more interested, but attraction doesn't work on logic. It works on tension, and when there's no tension, when she knows she has your full attention no matter what, the spark dies. The men who understand this do something counterintuitive. They pull back, not rudely, not as a game, but naturally the way someone does when they have their own life, their own focus, their own world that doesn't revolve around her. They look away sometimes. They don't always respond immediately. They let the conversation end without chasing more. And that space, that's where desire grows. Here's the psychology. Attention is value. When you give it freely, it becomes worthless. When you give it selectively, it becomes precious. She starts wondering what you're thinking, why you looked away. When you'll look back, if you've made it this far in the video, you're already ahead of most men who will never learn this. They'll keep chasing, keep smothering, keep wondering why nothing works. But there's a crucial balance here, and the seventh gesture shows you exactly where the line is. Because this next one is about what happens when you pull back too far. The seventh gesture is what separates the men who create desire from the men who create confusion. It's how you come back. See, withdrawal alone isn't attractive. If you pull back and stay distant, you don't create tension, you create doubt. She stops wondering and starts assuming you're not interested. And once that assumption sets in, it's hard to undo. The magic is in the return. When you withdraw your attention and then re-engage with genuine warmth, something powerful happens. The contrast hits her. The distance made your presence more valuable, and now that you're present again, really present, she feels it more intensely. This is the push-pull that makes attraction electric. But here's the key, the warmth has to be real. This isn't a technique you perform, it's not a cold calculation. When you look at her again, there's genuine appreciation in your eyes. When you re-engage, you're fully there, not half distracted, not playing games. Think of it like music. The pause between notes makes the next note hit harder. But if the pause goes too long, the song loses its rhythm. Your attention works the same way. The men who master this understand timing. They know when to pull back, they know when to return. And when they return, it's with the relaxed eye contact we talked about earlier, soft, present, appreciating. This combination of withdrawal and warmth creates something women rarely experience, a man who has his own life but still makes her feel seen. And that leads directly to the eighth gesture, because what you do with your hands matters more than you think. The eighth gesture is one of the most overlooked signals of confidence, and women notice it more than you'd ever guess. It's what you do with your hands. Watch a nervous man, and you'll see it immediately. He fidgets, touches his face, plays with his phone, adjusts his clothes, picks at something. His hands are constantly moving, constantly busy, and constantly betraying his anxiety. Now watch a man who's comfortable with himself. His hands are still. When they move with purpose. When they rest completely. There's no nervous energy leaking out through his fingers. This might seem small, but the impact is enormous. Here's why. Fidgeting signals internal chaos. It tells her subconscious that you're not settled, that something's off, that you're not in control of your own body. But calm hands, they communicate the opposite. They say, I'm at ease, I'm not performing, I'm not worried about what happens next. The fix requires awareness. Start noticing what your hands do when you're talking to someone. Are they still, or are they searching for something to do? When you catch them fidgeting, consciously let them rest on your leg, on the table, at your sides, anywhere as long as they're still. Combined with everything we've covered, the unhurried movement, the relaxed eyes, the grounded voice, still hands complete the picture. They're the final piece of physical presence. But the ninth gesture, it's not physical at all, it's something deeper, and it might be the most powerful signal of all. The ninth gesture is the one that ties everything together, and it's not something you can fake, it's genuine amusement. You've probably seen men who do everything right on paper, good posture, steady eye contact, confident voice, but something's missing. The interaction feels stiff, mechanical, like they're running through a checklist instead of actually enjoying themselves. Women sense this immediately, and it kills attraction faster than anything else. The most magnetic men have something different. They're genuinely entertained by the moment. When they smile, it reaches their eyes. When they laugh, it's real. There's a lightness to them, not because they're performing happiness, but because they're actually having fun. Here's the psychology. Genuine amusement signals emotional abundance. It tells her that you're not desperate for this interaction to go a certain way. You're not clinging to an outcome. You're enjoying the process itself, whether it leads somewhere or not. And that kind of emotional freedom, it's irresistible. The truth is, you can't manufacture this. You can't decide to be genuinely amused, but you can create the conditions for it. Stop putting so much pressure on interactions. Stop treating every conversation like a test you might fail. Start approaching women with curiosity instead of agenda. When you're actually present, not worrying about what to say next, not calculating your next move, amusement happens naturally. You notice things, you find things funny, you enjoy the person in front of you. That's the ninth gesture. And honestly, it might be the only one that truly matters. But before we finish, there's something important I need to tell you. Something most people won't say out loud. Here's the truth most people in this space won't tell you. These 9 gestures work. They absolutely work. But not for the reason you think. They don't work because they make you look confident. They don't work because they trigger some manipulation switch in a woman's brain. And they definitely don't work because you're tricking her into attraction. They work because of what they actually communicate. Every single gesture we covered. The unhurried movement, the relaxed eye contact, the stillness, the groundedness, the genuine amusement, they all signal the same thing, emotional safety. Women aren't attracted to confident men for the sake of confidence. They're attracted to men who feel safe, men who won't crumble when things get hard, men who can hold space for her emotions without getting reactive, men who are steady enough to be vulnerable with. That's the real secret. When you move slowly, you signal that you're not anxious. When your eyes are soft, you signal that you're not aggressive. When you don't react, you signal that you can handle pressure. When you're genuinely amused, you signal that you're emotionally free. All of it adds up to one message. You can let your guard down around me. And in a world where women are constantly scanning for danger, whether they realize it or not, being the man who feels safe is everything. So yes, practice these gestures, internalize them, let them become part of who you are, but understand what you're really building, not a performance, not a mask, a genuine sense of safety that she can feel the moment you walk into a room. That's what makes women desire you. Not tricks, not tactics, just being the kind of man she doesn't have to protect herself from. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 9 gestures surprised you the most? Was it the attention withdrawal, the importance of genuine amusement, or maybe you realized you've been doing one of these naturally without knowing why it worked? Drop a comment below and tell me. I read every single one and I'll be responding to as many as I can. Here's why this matters. This isn't just about attraction. It's not just about women noticing you. It's about becoming the kind of man who's genuinely comfortable in his own skin. The kind of man who doesn't need to perform, who doesn't need validation, who walks through the world with a quiet confidence that people can feel. That's what we're building here. Not pickup techniques, not manipulation tactics. Real, grounded, authentic presence. And if this video helped you see yourself differently, even a little, then we're on the right track. If you want to go deeper, I've got more content on understanding attraction, building confidence, and becoming the man you actually want to be. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. But remember this, you don't need to master all 9 gestures overnight. Start with one, just one. Maybe it's slowing down your movement, maybe it's softening your eye contact, maybe it's just being more present in your next conversation. Small changes compound, and the man you become through those small changes, he's the one women remember. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.